Well, we're just a few hours past the game tonight, and a few hours past learning the dire situation in front of Aiden Hutchinson after going down in what was an extremely gruesome injury tonight. There's been some conflicting reports on whether he had a compound tibia fracture or just a tibia fracture requiring surgery. Either way, Aiden Hutchinson's future for this season hangs in the balance, and his season is over as we know it right now. And the Detroit Lions have been through quite a few injuries this season, and after each injury, they seem to bounce back and do just fine. But this is one where a lot of fans have been concerned this entire season that we've always needed more, and the right defensive end was always a problem. And God, what would happen if we lost Aiden Hutchinson? Well, they probably should have never spoke that into existence, because now it happened. It happened on the worst possible night. A night that we were completely slaughtering the Dallas Cowboys, and our vindication for what happened last season was finally in our hands, and they weren't going to be able to take it away from us this time. And Aiden goes down. And I don't even really want to talk about this player, former player in J.J. Watt, but something popped into my head tonight that, there was always that opportunity that J.J. Watt would come back, but it was always said that he would come back for a certain team. And my question is, has he changed his mind? Would he be willing to play for another team that was a contender? And another team that has gone through a pretty dire situation. They lost their number 2, then they lost their number 1. And prior to that, they lost their number 3 and John Kaminsky. The Lions have been through the ringer this season with injuries. So I want to bring you back to what I was thinking about when this name popped into my head, because there was very specific conversations that happened with J.J. Watt just this season, well, back in May, so very, early into the offseason. And I'm going to play you some audio clips from a couple of shows that got some information, not only from J.J. Watt, but also from J.J. Watt's brother and D'Amico Ryans and others. Now, J.J. Watt has not ruled out coming out of retirement to play. The question is he only going to play for the Houston Texans, or would he be willing to play for another team? Now, Watt spent 10 seasons playing for the Texans between 2011 and 2020. He finished his career as an Arizona Cardinal at the end of the 2022 season, still playing at a very high level. We know that JJ is one of the best to ever do it, and he is oh so close to breaking Reggie's sack record. He is now 35 years old, and during his career, the 35-year-old was named Defensive Player of the Year 3 times and still holds the NFL record for the most tackles for loss in a season with 39. Now, even since retiring, Watt has been linked to a return to the NFL on multiple occasions, and he provided a couple of updates back in May about that situation and what it would take to come back to play again. He spoke with the Pat McAfee Show, and Kay Adams on the Up and Adams Show also did some digging of her own and came away with some audio tidbits that we're going to play for you here momentarily. Now, here's a quote by JJ. He says, "It was the same last year as this year. If it came down to an absolutely dire situation where they needed someone to help out, then I'd do that." Again, my question is that only for the Texans, JJ? Or are the Lions in that conversation? I hope the Lions are in that conversation. Now, for the record, I'm not saying that the Lions need to go out and sign a massive contract player. I'm not saying that Brad Holmes needs to sell the farm or trade a bunch of picks away to rescue the season. I do firmly believe in the depth of this team. And I also believe with the addition of Broderick Martin and getting even heavier in the middle of this defense, where we've had a tremendous amount of success this season, that the Detroit Lions will be in good hands the remainder of the season. I also believe that the back end of this defense is going to have to step up a little bit more to give the defensive line just a little bit more time to make those big splash plays if needed. But then again, it's all about scheme. And if AG runs the right scheme, we might be able to get away with not having to bring in a big name or, a big target or big trade, whatever you want to call it, for the remainder of the season. I do think that Brad Holmes is going to do something. I'm just not sure which direction makes the most sense. But I will say this. With Aiden Hutchinson out right now, and he was up for a big contract after this season, and he was going to earn a giant contract at the end of this season, whether Brad Holmes is going to extend him or not is probably not going to happen right now until Aiden can come back and prove that he's going to be able to be the same player that he once was. That just saved the Lions about $150 million, which means the wallet is open and the Lions have opportunity and they have cap space and they have draft capital. So all options are on the table, but what Brad Holmes does next, we probably won't hear about for a couple more weeks. But let's get into this. Does J.J. Watt make sense? Absolutely he does. Is he ready to play even at 35 years old? He sure is. Is Brad Holmes afraid to taking a guy off the couch and inserting him into the defensive line? He is not. So let's talk about it. But first, let's hear from J.J. Watt I'm going to start with Kay Adams, and we're going to hear exactly what she had to say, along with J.J. Watt's brother, and D'Amico Ryans, and others. Here we go.
This offseason, we talked to 3 people very close to J.J. Watt, and I'm confident in saying that J.J. Watt will come out of retirement, that's right, and play for the Texans, none other than his former squad this season. I'm telling you. We talked to his brother, T.J. Watt. We talked to, long ago, Texans GM Nick Caserio early in the offseason, and Texans head coach D'Amico Ryans, and here's what they all had to say about his return.
Know that he's staying in shape. We talked again last night. I'm always sending him film. He's always wanting to see film, and he's always trying to correct me and help me become a better pass rusher and stuff. So he definitely is still interested. I don't know how real all that conversation is. You'd have to have that with him, but who knows?
Once the season starts, then I think that's when the competitive juices get going. So D'Amico has an open door policy for JJ, so we'll see how it goes.
JJ knows. Anytime he's ready, I'm ready.
What does that mean?
If he's ready. JJ's been out now for, 2 years? When you stop playing football for 2 years, it's hard to come back.
So you're saying that knowing it's an open invitation, but he's probably not going to take it.
It's always open for JJ. I'm never closing that door.
Why not close the door? What does it help you to have these rumors out there? Like throw the water on it, but end the chaos. They didn't. Nobody did. Danielle Hunter, I'll add, was like, yeah, I'll bring him in here. Like we'll make room for him. He changed his number, left the 99 available for JJ to walk through the doors.
So as you heard from TJ Watt, who was the first speaker there, and D'Amico Ryans, that it's always an open door policy. They're not fooling around with this. But what TJ said is that JJ has been staying in shape. And I'll tell you, some of the pictures that I'm going to show you guys, I mean, JJ is in incredible shape. And I might add that he's probably in better shape than he ever was when playing football. He is getting after it big time and consistently staying in crazy shape, ready for a return at any moment. And that's why he said this is the last year that he's going to go through that. Let's hear Pat McAfee, and this is audio from JJ himself.
I got a beautiful wife. I got a beautiful son. I've had 12 great years in this league, and I'm very thankful to have walked away healthy and playing great. I told D'Amico last year, I said, don't call unless you absolutely need it, but if you ever do call, I'll be there. He knows not to call unless he absolutely needs it. This is the last year I'll tell him that, because I'm not going to keep training the way I've been training, but he knows that if he ever truly does need it, I'll be there for him. But he's going to try to make that happen. They got a very good crew. So you're saying the 4 defensive.
So you heard it from the man himself. He is in absolute amazing shape, and this is the last year that he's going to offer this to the Texans. Now, again, my question is, does it make sense for the Lions? Is JJ willing to come to the Lions and get after it? Because he's got to potentially be playing his former team if he does. And that could be the hang-up in this whole thing. Now, last year, you heard that there was some rumors that JJ might be coming out of retirement and might be headed to the Lions, but that was just some misreporting. This year, well, I'm wondering if there's a chance, and we'll see. JJ is somebody I would love to have on this team. He's definitely somebody you could insert right away. So you let me know in the comments below. Is JJ somebody you'd be willing to have on the Lions team? Even at 35 years old? Someone that's been away from football for 2 years, and someone that you could probably pay a considerable less amount of money to come back for, 10 games, 12, 14, 15, 16, whatever it is for the rest of the season? My answer would be yes, but I'd love to hear from what you guys have to say. And more importantly, I'd love to hear from JJ. JJ, are you willing to come back for the Detroit Lions, or are the Houston Texans it, man? Is that the end of the road for you? I wouldn't say that I would be surprised if you would say that, yep, that's it. It's the Texans. I don't want to play for another team, and I would totally understand and appreciate that. But the only thing that I would add to that is this. It's only one chance you're going to get to play for Dan Campbell. And I think that that's a coach that you're going to want to play for. As cool as D'Amico Ryans is, there's only one Dan Campbell. All right, that's it for this episode of What is Next After the Fallout of Aiden. And again, Aiden Hutchinson, man, my heart is with you, brother. Really, I can't thank you enough for all that you've done for the Detroit Lions so far, and I can't wait to see you back in uniform as quickly as possible. But health is first, and family is always a close second, right? So get better. We'll see you back very, very soon.